Ever heard of a cell dying in a way that sounds kind of like a sci-fi weapon? Well, get ready to dive into the world of ferroptosis.
It is pretty wild, huh?
Yeah?
This iron-dependent cell death.
This,
And the
uh,
implications are big, especially for nasty diseases like
yeah,
tuberculosis.
that's right.
Yeah.
We're going deep on a paper from Microbial Pathogenesis, just came out last month, October 2024,
hmm
and it's all about this link between ferroptosis and the
hmm
battle going on inside us, between our immune system
Right.
and Mycobacterium tuberculosis.
Yeah, MTB for
Okay.
short.
Yep.
It really dives into how ferroptosis might actually help MTB.
Oh, that's not good.
Not good at all.
So for our listeners, back up for a sec. What is tuberculosis? Like, why should we even care?
So TB, it's a bacterial infection.
Oh,
It really messes up your lungs mostly.
uh,
And globally, it's a huge problem. Millions of new cases every year.
wow.
And China, I mean, they're hit especially hard.
But like, why is it so hard to treat? We got antibiotics, right?
Yeah, but TB's sneaky. MTB, this bacteria, it's got these crazy ways to dodge our immune system.
Really? Like how?
Like, okay, think of macrophages. They're like the soldiers of your immune system.
Okay.
They eat up and kill invaders. But MTB, it figures out how to survive inside them.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's nuts. And then it uses those macrophages to spread even more and hide from other immune cells.
So it's like your own army turning on you.
Totally. And it gets worse.
Oh.
MTB can hide in these things called granulomas.
Okay.
Imagine them like little fortresses in your body.
Hmm.
So even if your immune system knows something's wrong, it can't get to the bacteria to kill it.
Oh man.
It's a tough battle.
So it's like this constant fight, right? Our body's trying to fight, and MTB just keeps dodging.
Exactly.
And this research is saying ferroptosis might be one of its weapons.
Right.
So just to recap, ferroptosis, it's when a cell dies because it's got too much iron.
Yeah, that iron overload sets off a chain reaction, damages the cell's membrane.
Oh, right, like it's rusting from the inside out.
Right. Exactly.
With those reactive oxygen species, or ROS.
Yep. And researchers are finding that when you get infected with MTB, it seems to trigger ferroptosis in macrophages.
Wait, so it makes the cells that are trying to kill it self-destruct?
Basically, it's pretty messed up.
But how's it doing that?
That's what we're going to figure out. If you can understand how MTB does this, maybe we can find new ways to fight it.
Okay, so let's break it down. What proof do we have that MTB infection is linked to ferroptosis?
Well, researchers found that MTB infection causes iron to build up inside macrophages.
Right, that was like the first thing we talked about, iron overload.
Exactly. And MTB also messes with lipid metabolism in the cell, which is a big part of this whole death cascade.
So it's like MTB is setting the stage for ferroptosis to happen.
Yeah, pretty sneaky, right?
That's wild.
And the paper we're talking about, it points to all these studies where scientists actually saw ferroptosis happening in cells with MTB.
Oh, wow. So it's not just a theory.
Nope, it's real.
So this paper, it actually breaks down who's involved in all this.
Exactly. It's like a little cellular whodunit.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's meet these key players.
So the paper lays out a few big players in this ferroptosis thing. First, iron regulation. Our cells usually keep iron levels in check,
Okay.
but MTB messes with that.
Why is iron so important again with the whole ferroptosis thing?
Right, it's all about that overload. Too much iron, bam, you get a ton of those reactive oxygen species, and they just wreck the cell membranes.
Gotcha.
So MTB, it basically uses that to its advantage.
So it hijacks how our cells deal with iron.
Exactly. Two key molecules are transferrin, which brings iron into the cell, and ferritin, which stores it safely.
Okay.
MTB messes with both.
And there was that study with the mice, right? Something about the FTH1 gene.
Oh yeah, that one's wild.
It showed how important iron balance is.
Big time. So FTH1, it's part of ferritin, the iron storage guy.
Right.
They made these mice that didn't have that gene, so their cells couldn't store iron, right?
Okay.
And when they got infected with MTB, iron overload city, more lung damage, more bacteria. They didn't do well, those poor mice.
So basically, MTB is messing with iron to make ferroptosis happen more.
Yeah, like tipping the scales.
But our cells, they fight back.
We
right?
do. They've got ways to deal with this rusting effect from the ROS.
Like that cleanup crew, the GSH and GPX4.
You got it.
Mm.
GSH, that's a powerful antioxidant.
Right.
And GPX4, it uses GSH to neutralize those nasty lipid peroxides that build up.
So they're like the damage control team.
Exactly. Constantly patching up those tiny holes in the cell membrane.
So does MTB try to stop them since it wants ferroptosis?
That's what the research suggests.
No way.
Yep. MTB weakens GSH and GPX4, making our cells even more vulnerable.
playing dirty.
Totally. It's like setting the fire and then breaking the fire extinguisher.
That's messed up. How does it do that, though? Weaken them.
Scientists are still working on that,
Huh?
but it looks like MTB messes with how much GSH and GPX4 the cell can even make.
Mm.
The details are complicated, but basically, MTB is stopping our cells from protecting themselves.
Okay, so we got MTB manipulating iron, messing with our defenses. Anything else it's doing to make ferroptosis worse?
Don't forget about lipid metabolism.
Oh, right. MTB loves to munch on those.
Big time. Uses them for energy, builds its own cell wall with them.
You said it's like MTB cooking dinner with our lipids.
That's right. But here's the thing.
Right.
MTB doesn't just use them. It changes how our cells process lipids.
Okay.
And this can actually make those lipids more likely to get damaged by lipid peroxidation.
So it's making more fuel for the ferroptosis fire.
Exactly, like
But-
chopping wood to build a house, but accidentally tossing some logs on a bonfire.
I love these analogies. And what was that enzyme, the ACSL4?
Oh yeah, that one's key. ACSL4, it helps change fatty acids into a form MTB can use.
Okay.
But that change also makes those fatty acids more vulnerable to those reactive oxygen species, the ones driving ferroptosis.
So it's like MTB is kind of contributing to its own downfall by pushing for ferroptosis.
It's complicated for sure. Research is still going on, but it does seem like MTB messing with lipid metabolism can backfire. Helps it survive for a bit, but maybe leads to its doom in the end.
So we got iron, antioxidants, and lipids.
The big three.
It's crazy how MTB is involved in all of them.
Right. It's adapted over like thousands of years, figured out how to use our cells against us.
But this paper also talked about some other stuff, right? More to the story.
Oh yeah, there's always more. Like take the P53 gene.
P53, that's usually a good thing, right?
The tumor suppressor.
Yeah.
Keeps our cells from going cancerous. But with MTB infection, it's weird.
What do you mean?
So some research says that when P53 is downregulated, meaning it's not as active,
Uh-huh.
MTB actually has an easier time surviving.
Wait, so less P53 is bad when it comes to TB?
It seems that way. It shows how much we still don't know about ferroptosis and what it does in different diseases. It's complicated.
This is blowing my mind. Like every time we learn something new, it gets more complex.
Totally. It's like peeling an onion.
Right. It keeps going deeper.
And it makes you wonder, what else is MTB manipulating? What other tricks does it have up its sleeve?
Seriously, we're just scratching the surface here.
I think so. Which leads to a big question. Can we use this knowledge about ferroptosis to make new treatments for TB?
Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So MTB is using ferroptosis to its advantage.
Yeah,
But can we, like, turn the tables, use this to fight back?
that's the hope, right? And the research is heading that way. There's a lot of potential to use ferroptosis against TB.
The paper talked about a bunch of molecules they're testing as treatments, right? Using ferroptosis.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of them are designed to stop that iron overload we talk about.
Uh-huh.
So basically cutting off MTB's fuel for ferroptosis.
Makes sense.
And others, they try to boost those natural defenses like GSH and GPX4.
Right, to help ourselves.
Yeah, give them a fighting chance.
So it's like we're either taking away the bomb or giving ourselves better armor.
Exactly. But it's not that easy, of course.
Right, because there could be side effects.
For sure, ferroptosis is complicated, and we're still figuring it all out.
Mm.
Messing with it could have, consequences we don't want.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt the healthy cells.
Exactly. And we got to figure out how ferroptosis works with the rest of the immune system, too.
So we need more research before we can actually use these ferroptosis treatments.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But it's happening, and the early stuff looks good.
Hmm.
Could be a real game changer for how we deal with TB.
It's crazy that something like too much iron could
Mhm.
be the key to fighting this huge disease.
Right. It's all connected, all these processes in our cells.
Yeah.
Even a tiny imbalance can mess things up big time.
And the scientists figuring this out, that's pretty amazing.
Totally. Always pushing the limits.
So this paper we've been talking about,
Yeah.
if someone wants to read it,
Yeah.
what's it called and where can they find it?
Okay, so the title is Ferroptosis, a new way to intervene in the game between Mycobacterium tuberculosis and macrophages.
Okay.
And it's in the October 2024 issue of Microbial Pathogenesis.
Awesome. We'll put a link in the show notes too.
Perfect.
And if anyone wants to learn more about ferroptosis in general, there's tons of stuff online.
Yeah, it's a hot topic.
I mean, we just scratched the surface here, right?
Totally. Ferroptosis is involved in all sorts of diseases, cancer, brain stuff, you name it.
Wow.
Figuring out how it works could lead to some crazy new treatments.
It feels like we're on the edge of something big in medicine. Like
I know, right?
we're going to be able to target these tiny processes in our cells
Yeah,
way more precisely.
it's exciting.
Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive for today.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
This whole world of cell death and bacteria, it's fascinating.
It is. So for everyone listening, think about this. As we learn more about ferroptosis, what other cellular processes might we find MTB manipulating?
Hmm.
And can we use this knowledge to fight not just TB, but other diseases too?
It's like the more we know, the more we realize we don't know.
That's science for you.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic.